Think for yourself. Question authority.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now, it's been just a little bit since we talked about Nintendo's next-gen console, from what they're developing and what they've been hinting at for the past few years. Of course, we've been talking about many different aspects of what they're working on for quite a while here on this channel. Of course, all the rumor reports from trusted sources that, of course, have been wrong along the way that we talked about as well, because we thought they were trusted sources. But as we know, things don't always work out the way they're planned. We've had a global pandemic and lots of plans seem to have changed over the past few years for Nintendo. But there's some very interesting information we have to talk about, and it has to do with that Nvidia leak that happened in late February, early March timeframe for the Nintendo Switch 2 or next gen Switch and all that stuff that happened with that. And also we're going to be talking about some other things along with this for this next gen Switch that Nintendo has a lot of options to explore. So this is a very interesting video. If you do enjoy it, please hit the like button for me and subscribe to the channel. Also subscribe to the live channel that I've been doing each and every weekend. We've been live streaming each weekend and we've been having a lot of fun on that channel, so definitely subscribe to that channel as well. In fact, this information that we're going to discuss originated from that live channel on a live stream I did. I was talking about it just in passing in a live stream. So I definitely want to subscribe to that live channel. We talk about various information as we play games and just randomly chat about the going-ons of Nintendo and the gaming industry. And of course, we are running a giveaway as well for that live channel. Once we hit 500 subscribers, I will be giving away a $50 Amazon gift card to one of the subscribers to that live channel, and another two $50 Amazon gift cards when we hit 1,000 subscribers. So you don't want to be left out of that. Definitely subscribe to the live channel. All right, guys. So this next gen Switch, it seems like it's on the way from Nintendo. It seems like it's in development. People have been talking about it. We've been talking about it for quite a while now, since 2019. We ourselves here have basically called it not a Switch Pro at that point, and we've been going on the assumption that this is going to be more like a next-gen upgrade from Nintendo and not a Pro model. I know a lot of the rumors I talked about is just a Pro model for quite a long time, but ever since it was reported by one of those earlier trusted sources, basically this was a next-gen Switch. And as far as the way Nintendo was developing their console, as far as having custom architecture, it looked like more that they were going along the lines of a next-gen console, not just a Switch Pro. And coinciding with that, with Nintendo's own words from Doug Bowser in an interview, they even talked about Nintendo going full next-gen or just a kind of half step. And he was talking about what would the audience want, a more half step or a next-gen console. And then of course, right after that, they announced the Switch OLED. Definitely not a Switch Pro. So his words basically there kind of solidified, and at least for me, that this is going to be a next-gen Switch, not a Switch Pro model. And at this point, after 5 years on the market, you could definitely see Nintendo's track record. They're going to release most likely a next-gen Switch in the not too distant future pretty soon with the way it looks. So getting back to this Nvidia leak though. Now, I didn't talk about it when it first was released, but I talked about this information just a bit on my live stream back on March 6th. And now in this video, I'm going to back that up with actual information proof that I'm going to show you after we discuss this. So take a look at this. You look at Nintendo, how they operate with their consoles. They distribute all that information on their dev portal. They don't just give it to Nvidia to distribute to their own people on their network. Nvidia would not have Nintendo's next-gen console stuff on their own network, on their servers. That's just not how that works. So I think people may have jumped to conclusions based on the NVN2 line, but funny thing about that is that NVN was created by Nvidia in the first place for the Switch. But that doesn't mean they're not using it for their own development tools, for their own things as well. That leak was much worse for Nvidia than people realize, and I'm not going to really say what it was that was leaked, but there was some really bad things that leaked for them. They could be getting lots of lawsuits on that. not from Nintendo, from other people. Let's just say I've heard some things that and seen some things. The way NVIDIA distributes that information to their partners is on their own servers, and it's their own APIs, it's their own SDKs that they use for their own products. They've been using that API for quite a long time for other things. I'm not saying Nintendo isn't using an NVIDIA chip or something like that. I'm not saying that. More so, I'm saying that leak is more than likely not necessarily related to Nintendo for this particular thing. So people really should just relax and move on from that, and then let Nintendo announce their console when they're ready. What I'm going to be showing though is a couple screenshots from the SDK that NVIDIA just recently sent out to developers back when they were sharing that information online on their servers. And for obvious reasons, I'm not going to be sharing any links in the description for anything here. You're going to have to decide for yourself and think for yourself on this one, but these are very clear, very precise, and very detailed screenshots from those SDKs that were sent out. And it does in fact list NVN on these SDKs that NVIDIA partners are using. And in fact, NVIDIA has been using NVN themselves. They themselves have made NVN the API, not just for Nintendo, but it's also an API that they themselves use internally, passing it around to various other developers they have that work for them on their Ampere, their Turing, and even way back on their Fermi architectures that they have way back in the 400 GTX series. They have that API that's in use that can be used on those older GPUs. It's very interesting there to see that. And this information comes from their latest Orin development SDK that they've been sending out and testing to various partners that they have. Now remember, Orin is a chip that they're using for automobiles, for driverless cars. What they're using for gaming right now, especially for their mobile-like devices, is mainly their GeForce laptop GPUs. It's basically their shrunk down RTX series for their laptops. Now these obviously are way too powerful. They have too much power consumption for a portable device like a Nintendo Switch. And Orin, for example, even though it does have a variant that goes down to 10 watts, has not been specifically designed yet for a gaming device, any gaming device. So keeping all that in mind, I want to make it very clear, I'm not dismissing NVIDIA chips whatsoever for a use in a new Nintendo Switch. All I'm talking about here is possibilities, and also that this leak does not necessarily coincide with a connection to Nintendo's next-gen console. DLSS has not been confirmed being used by Nintendo. In fact, the opposite is true. Nintendo and third parties are already using FSR on Nintendo Switch games, which is an NVIDIA product, the Tegra X1 processor. Square Enix has adopted FSR, they confirmed themselves they're using FSR technology in their Life is Strange port on the Nintendo Switch to achieve higher fidelity graphics in docked mode. And then in our last video, we talked about how Nintendo is using FSR in their new Nintendo Switch Sports game. They're going to be using FSR to enhance the fidelity of the graphics when it's in docked mode there as well. So Nintendo is already using FSR. There has been no DLSS being used by Nintendo. Nothing has been talked about there. Just rumors, right? However, again, this doesn't dismiss any future Nintendo Switch console from using DLSS and FSR, because FSR is open source, including FSR 2.0, and AMD confirmed the FSR 2.0, which looks vastly superior, confirmed vastly superior, and I'm talking way better than FSR 1. FSR 2 can be adopted for use in an NVIDIA powered Nintendo Switch device, or any device that uses NVIDIA or AMD or any chip basically, because it is open source. DLSS, for example, though, as we talked about before, NVIDIA is locking that behind their own technology and their own GPUs, which uses their Tensor cores. However, many people don't realize this though as well. Just like FSR 2.0, NVIDIA can in fact modify DLSS to not require Tensor cores, which means it could actually be open source. The Tensor cores and the machine learning were used mainly to assign certain properties of DLSS to help it, with its functions, but it can be modified to actually use no tensor cores and just be software based like FSR 2.0 is. And the results speak for themselves. FSR 2.0 provides a better quality look than native resolution, which is similar to DLSS 2.2 as well. Now with AMD, they're making it open source, so it opens up all the possibilities to any GPU that is being used to use FSR 2.0. So in terms of Nintendo, you just have to look at exactly what they're doing right now. They're already using AMD FSR on the Nintendo Switch. Chances are, since they're already having third parties have access to this on the Nintendo Switch, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't also allow FSR 2.0 when it comes out. And it's already been discussed before on this channel as well. I have had examples of it in different videos, how FSR open source is easier to implement than DLSS 2.0, for example. It's an easier process, it's more straightforward. Chances are Nintendo will continue to use FSR and FSR 2.0 in their next gen Switch because it's easy and it's most likely a lot more affordable, and it's not tied to a single type of chip, and they can continue making different types of consoles using that similar technology as well without having being tied to a contract of paying Nvidia just to use their proprietary DLSS upscaling when they can use something else that's open source. Nintendo's given them the tools that they need to use FSR. They've approved it. So something's going on here with AMD's FSR for Nintendo. I think it's great. And obviously, if Nintendo does release a Nintendo Switch 2 that has DLSS compatibility with it, built in, if it has tensor cores or whatever like that, they can also use FSR 2.0 as well. There's no limit there because NVIDIA graphics card that uses DLSS can also use FSR 2.0. However, an AMD graphics card can only use FSR, right? It can't use DLSS. So the options there would be more limited. But also, when you look at the quality of FSR 2.0 versus DLSS 2.0, there's not much difference there. FSR 2.0 is extremely impressive. So it remains to be seen what Nintendo will do. Will they even use DLSS at all because of the cost, since it is definitely more expensive, or will they opt to use FSR 2.0 because the cost is less, it's easier to use, and it looks just as good? So we will have to wait and see. But that's the cool thing about all this information, is that it's right there to look at. You can think about it and you can make your own judgments as to which way Nintendo will go. But it's very, very exciting because the technology is there, guys, for this mobile tech to actually happen, be playing next gen games on the go. Steam Deck has made that a possibility, and whatever Nintendo does with their own next gen Switch, the Switch 2, in the next year or so, or however many months it is, it's going to be really, really exciting to see what type of technology they're going to be using. But we can already kind of see the direction from where they're going. They're going FSR right now. It's been confirmed, it's right there in front of you. So I don't see any reason why they won't continue to use FSR and FSR 2.0 going forward, because quite simply, it's great. It's awesome. So why not use it, right? No matter what chip they do in fact start to use in the future. However, I did want to make that pretty clear here in this video that the leak of that NVIDIA information back in March, early March or late February, whenever it was recently, it doesn't appear like it's related necessarily to Nintendo, because NVN is in fact used by NVIDIA for their own products. And also, quite frankly, in the end, that leak, even if it was related to Nintendo, whatever it was that was shown probably was erased and just redone anyway at this point. And Nintendo's own actions have shown that they already are using FSR. So either way, even if they are using DLSS, it's not really that big of a deal if they got FSR in the works already. So basically, take that information however which way you want to take it, think about it, and agree or disagree. Let me know what you think in the comment section. All I'm doing here is hopefully providing just a little bit more insight on what may have happened back on that NVIDIA leak. It is pretty interesting to think about though, isn't it? NVIDIA basically has been using NVN already. They themselves have developed it. So basically, here we are. We're still at kind of like square one, but we kind of a little bit have an idea of where Nintendo's going with their ability to use FSR already and third parties on the Nintendo Switch. When Nintendo continue using it with their next gen Switch, I don't see why not if they're already using it now on the current Switch. So guys, let me know what you think again, like I said, in the comment section. And if you did enjoy this, please hit the like button, subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you very soon in the next video. Maybe very soon. Very, very soon. Maybe really soon. All right, guys, take care.